Hey folks, David Frost, LazyGapTrader.com. Got the video started a little bit late. We're getting in a trade right now at 52.20. It's Nordstrom, JWN. This is a morning gap trade. I'll explain in a second as we go. I just need to get settled in here. I can barely walk and chew gum at the same time, let alone talk you through a trade, get in the trade, and explain everything at the same time. So let's get settled in here. It's not uncommon for a stock as it gets close to 52, for example, which is a round number, even though my level that I gave out to subscribers this morning was $52.52, pardon me, $52.20. It's not uncommon for a stock to want to get down to a round number like 52 and even pierce through it a little bit. So I'm willing to let this stock get down to about 51.80, 51.75, not much more than that. Anything much more than that, and I'm going to want to move out of the position. But 52.20 should be a really, really good support level, at least for a bounce. And there's two reasons why. Number one, it was a morning gap trade, and I'm going to explain more about this in a second. The second reason is it was also on the morning gap fill list that goes out to subscribers that get my daily gap trading emails. So we had two reasons why this was a wonderful, wonderful support level down here. So we had two different reasons to take the same trade. That generally tells you it's going to work out. So we'll see what happens here. It's going a little bit lower, but like I said, it's not uncommon for it to pierce through the even number of 52. That tends to happen a lot of the time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. So now we're down below it by 20 cents, bouncing up a little bit. The morning gap trade is a strategy that I teach at LazyGapTrader.com. And what it is I teach you how to identify an area where a stock should find a support or resistance area if it's gapping higher or lower at the open, more than a certain amount. In most cases, it's more than 4 or 5%. Sometimes less, but in most cases, more than 4 or 5%. And so what happens is you can see here that Nordstrom closed yesterday up at about 55 and change, and it was gapping down at the open, and we're able to identify a price level where this stock will likely have a price reaction in the other direction, and that level is 55.20. And as we move slightly below that level again, testing slightly below that, not that uncommon. What I'm looking for on a profit on this trade, should we get back above the 52.20 level, is 52.60. That's going to be my target. I'm looking for 40 cents on this trade. Sometimes I will take half the trade off and keep the remaining half for a further run higher throughout the day. However, today happens to be quadruple witching options expiration week and day. Therefore, I'm not interested in holding anything for the long term. I'm just interested in making a quick scalp trade on this gap trade. And once we get back above 52.20, and we will, because it really is a good support level. So the stock should pop back above that level, shaking out some weak hands right now. And once it does, we should work back up. In fact, you wouldn't be surprised to see the stock back at $53. I'm not waiting around for that. I'm going to take profit if we can get it at $52.60. So I'll tell you a little bit while we wait, and you can see the market fighting this level here. We just popped back above it. It's going to fight this level. There's a lot of bulls, a lot of bears. We'll see who wins the fight. We should get a little bit of a spike up off this level. That's what these levels do. They generally cause a price reaction in the other direction. By the way, sometimes it happens within seconds. Sometimes it takes a few minutes. It generally doesn't take more than 10 minutes or so. If it's taking longer than that, a lot of times it's not going to happen and you want to move out of the trade. 20 minutes, 10 minutes, a half an hour, that's about it. Anything longer than that, and really what happens is the stock begins to consolidate down at that level, and that's essentially building energy to move lower in a case like this. So what I do in my course is I teach traders how to calculate exactly where these mathematical levels are, where stocks are A, drawn to, and B, should find, in this case, support, and if a stock's gapping higher, a resistance point, and that usually creates a price reaction in the other direction. You're seeing JWN or Nordstrom fight the 52.20 level, and that's normal garden variety behavior at these levels. These are very strong mathematical levels where the market will get drawn to and have a price reaction from. We're looking for a quick pop up to 52.60. That's where my order is. That's where I will exit the full trade and hopefully get a 40-cent profit on this scalp trade. This is the first gap trade of the day. There's a couple of more on the board, and the market had just opened, so this is the first one right at the opening bell for the most part. We have another couple of stocks on the list today, and there's a whole plethora of gap fill stocks that have a chance to fill their gaps. That's the second part of the course I teach. I teach the morning gap trades, what you're seeing here, and hopefully you'll see a bounce higher in the other direction, meaning upward. And then the second half of the course, I teach a whole nother gap trading strategy. It's a complementary strategy to the morning gap trades, which is gap fill trades. And that's where, when a day like today where Nordstrom is gapping lower, I teach you the fact that we can find another trade when the stock comes back to fill the gap. I teach you how to keep track of it. I teach you which trades we want, which trades we don't. We don't want every trade. We only want the ones that fit into our rules, obviously taught in the course at lazygaptrader.com. So, we're still fighting the 52.20 level. This is taking a little longer than I would have liked it to take. We're about 7 minutes into the trade at this point in time. I'm going to give it another 2 or 3 minutes maybe, and then I'll end the video. But I'll stay with the trade as long as it abides by my rules and above the stop loss limitation that's given out to traders in the morning that get my gap trade levels. So let me explain that while we wait. So I teach a course, and in the course I teach you everything you need to know in order to trade the gaps successfully. You don't need anything else. But in addition to that, I also provide traders my gap trading levels each and every day. My morning gap trades. Okay, next candle just opened. Now we should get a spike higher. So I give you my gap trade levels each day, what I find to be the best morning gap trading opportunities, and I also give you the top 21, gap fill trades that are closest to filling their gaps. So they're usually within 4 or 5%, all of them, within filling their gaps. And day in, day out, we'll get anywhere from 1, 2, 3, even 4 or 5 gap fill trades on a day. If the market's more volatile, you get more. If the market's quiet, you get less. We're up at 52, 44, 46, 45. So we should get a pop. First, we're going to find a little bit of resistance at 52.50 right now. And that's normal. The market likes to find resistance at halfway points like 52.50, 53, even numbers, 52, 53, 54. That's normal market behavior on an intraday basis, on a very short-term basis. You find the market bounce off those numbers. That's, normal market behavior. But what I'm looking for is a spike up to 52.60 and I'll be out of the trade. I need this to be 52.60 on the bid. We were at 52.51 just a second ago, so we did get above the 52.50 level. We need one more push higher. That's what it's going to take, and then I'll be out of the trade with a 40-cent profit and on to the next trade. We've got some gap fill trades on the board today that look good. And there's another morning gap trade that's a possibility that I've got my eye on as well. So, again, we're coming up into about the 10-minute mark that I'm in this trade. And I start to get antsy around this point. But here we go. 52.51 on bid, 58. Still didn't get filled. Come on. I need one more push higher above 52.60. Maybe I put it in too high. I didn't get filled. I need one more push. Let's see it. We're hovering. We should pop. If not, I'm going to move out with the profit right here. Pretty soon. Give it another second, minute, half minute, something like that. 52.60 is what we're looking for. Close. I'm getting greedy now. All right. I'm going to move out of the trade. I'm moving out at 52.55 is where I'm out of the trade. I'm not going to split hairs over a nickel. It was bouncing. I never got filled. It got up there on the ask. It never hit the bid. And here we come. Unbelievable. Now we got it. All right. So I came up a nickel short of where I wanted to. That's okay. It's still 35 cents on the trade. It's a good trade. I'm David Frost, Lazy Gap Trader. Come over, check out the course, folks.